So just to provide a little bit of background that has already been mentioned by Mr. Siraj. We have the preferred, Mauritius is the preferred strategic partner for investment, for doing trade, for work and live place in the Indian Ocean. Though it is a very small island, but we have all these facilities and conveniences for doing business in Mauritius. In terms of legal framework, so we have Mauritius has a very legal, a mature legal infrastructure, and as already mentioned to you also that we have the hybrid system of the English common law and the French Napoleon Code, and anyone who's not satisfied with the judgment of the Supreme Court in Mauritius can still go to the UK Privy Council. In terms of connectivity, so Mauritius is very well connected with safe Lion and Mars cables, and we are already implementing the 5K connectivity in Mauritius. In terms of air connectivity, so very well connected with the rest of the world. We have daily flights. Just before the pandemic, I would say we had twice a day flights from Dubai to Mauritius, and we are very well connected with Europe. And I think we have 4 to 6 flights going to India, so to Mumbai, Delhi, and to Bangalore. We have also access to preferential markets, which gives preferential rates and tariffs for doing our business from Mauritius to the rest of the world. And in terms of ease of doing business, so the types of entities for cross-border investment that foreigners can establish in Mauritius. Company, it can be a investment fund, it can be partnership, trust, and foundation. So for setting up a company, it can be a domestic company, and for the domestic company, the foreign investor, he can have 100% foreign ownership, and it has to go through the Economic Development Board, Register of Companies, the revenue authorities in Mauritius, and obtain the trade licenses for the appropriate business that he wants to establish in Mauritius, and there he can start his business. Or the other option would be to be part of the global business company for cross-border transactions. And for this one, it has to be licensed by the Financial Services Commission, the Register of Companies, and the Mauritius Revenue Authority. So this is the type for setting up either a domestic company or a company in the global business. So as I mentioned, for the domestic company, it can be 100% foreign ownership, and there is assistance and guidance provided by the Economic Development Board in terms of how to establish, what type of business they want to enter into, where to operate, and in terms of location. All these facilities and guidances are already provided by the Economic Development Board of Mauritius. And for that type of company, it will be taxed at the flat rate of 15%, the same as Mauritian companies or individuals are taxed. And for the global business company, I have here put like a case study so that we can see for the global business company, we call that the GBC company. So the shareholder can be anywhere, in India, in UK, or wherever. So it goes through the GBC company in Mauritius, and the GBC company in Mauritius can have 2 types of activities. It can be an investment holding company, or it can also have a trading activity. So for the investment company, holding company, it will have subsidiaries in other countries. It may have, for example, it may be having a subsidiary in Africa or elsewhere. And from that angle, the investment holding company will receive consultancy fees that are taxed at 15%. It will receive dividend or interest income if it has like intercompany loans, etc. So through that route, it has a reduced tax, and it will be only 3%. And in terms of capital gains, we already have treaties with 46 countries, and there is no capital gains tax in Mauritius. And for the trading company, for the trade of goods that is being done through Mauritius, the tax is at 3%. Here, I want to mention that in terms of trading activities, the company that is on the global business sector, the goods doesn't need to come to Mauritius. Let's say a company in India is operating, is exporting goods and has established a company in the global business sector in Mauritius. It has its license for the GBC license. So the goods can leave India, and if the end customer is somewhere in Africa, so the goods can directly leave India and go to the Africa. Let's say it's Nairobi or wherever in Africa. The goods doesn't need to come and transit through Mauritius. The goods are being shipped directly from the supplier, and even if it's China or wherever in the world, it goes directly to the end customer. And in terms of taxation also, we have we also apply our double tax advantage of our double taxation treaties that we have with several countries, and which has the benefit that it can further reduce the tax percentage, let's say for the dividend, where the tax is on dividend income is at 3%. But if the dividend has already been taxed elsewhere, let's say in Africa, in whatever jurisdiction in Africa, and if we have a double taxation treaty with that country in Africa, so that the dividend already impacted by tax in Africa, when it comes to Mauritius, it would be taxed at 3%. But in that context, we apply the double taxation treaty, and it can further be reduced from 3%, it can go to 0%. And in terms of distribution to the shareholders, so it can be either as capital gains, it can be dividends, it can be interest or payment and royalties. So we don't have any withholding tax from Mauritius while we pay the shareholder the dividends. So these are paid gross to the country wherever it goes to, and we don't withhold any taxes here in Mauritius. So I have also prepared a case study just to illustrate what I just mentioned. For example, we have a shareholder in India, which if we go to on the right hand side, it's on the picture, it's investing in the GBC company in Mauritius, and it has also INVESTI company in Ghana. So the shareholder, the company, the individual or the company from India is doing business in Ghana through Mauritius. So through the GBC company in Mauritius to Ghana. So what we see from Ghana, the company that is the INVESTI company, so the GBC company is investing in the Ghana company, and the Ghana company will be repaying dividend to the GBC company in Mauritius. So let's say, for example, in this case, Ghana has withheld 7% tax before paying the dividend to the Mauritian company. So the Mauritius tax normally on the dividend income would be 3% through the exempt route, but the fact that it has already borne the 7% tax in Ghana, the 3% tax that would be normally applied on the dividend income will be reduced from the tax effect of the 7% already incurred in Ghana. So it comes to 0. Then the dividend income that is comes to Mauritius does not bear any further tax. So it remains gross as it is. And when it is being transferred to India, then we don't withhold any taxes while paying the dividend back to India, and there is no capital gain tax in Mauritius. So then both this dividend, when it's being received in India, then it will be treated locally over there according to Indian law. But in Mauritius, there is no tax on that. And what are the minimum requirements to establish a GBC company in Mauritius? So we have it has to be operated through a licensed management company in Mauritius. So the licensed management company will provide advisory services, will set up the company, will provide secretarial services, and on top of that, it can also provide accounting, taxation services, compliance, and general administration services. And in terms of substance that the GBC companies needs to provide and to substantiate in Mauritius, there needs to be 2 local resident directors in that company, meaning that there needs to be 2 Mauritian directors in that company. And these directors are normally, for the sake of nomination and being appointed on that company, it's not like a full-time director who's involved in the day-to-day operations of the company. The main bank account of that company should be a Mauritian bank account. And all the accounts needs to be prepared and audited under the international financial framework, that is the IFRS, and it needs to have at least directly or indirectly 1 employee in Mauritius. And in terms of annual cost, the estimated annual cost for such a GBC company in Mauritius, it is around $12,000 USD. The other type of company that we have under the GBC, under the global business, is the authorized company. So the authorized company is allowed where the companies have the activities and central management and control outside of Mauritius. So it's not being done in Mauritius. And it will be, in such a case, it will be non-resident for tax purposes in Mauritius. And so when we say non-resident for tax purposes, it means that the tax rate is 0%, so it's not taxable in Mauritius. And but it will still need to submit a tax return with the Mauritius Revenue Authority within 6 months from its CRN. So this is just a formality that it needs to submit that return with the Revenue Authority in Mauritius. But it must have its central management and control outside of Mauritius at all times. And to operate such a company in Mauritius, the estimated fees is around $3,000 USD per annum. Also, the $12,000 USD was also per annum for the GBC companies. On top of that, we have several incentives that the government is providing to foreigners in Mauritius for the time being. We have special licenses, and for example, we have the Global Headquarter Administration license, having a tax holiday of 8 years. So it means that the foreign company will operate the Mauritian company as give me 2 seconds, sorry. We also have the Global Treasury license that provides a tax holiday of 5 years. We have the Overseas Family Office that provides a tax holiday of 5 years, and international law firms can also establish in Mauritius and thereby benefiting a tax holiday for 5 years. So by tax holiday, it means that the company will not be taxable, will have 0% tax for the mentioned periods. So how to use Mauritius as a business platform? Just to summarize, it can establish in Mauritius, it's a company that will do import and export of goods and services, and that take advantage of the trade agreement that we already have with India. Establish in Mauritius, like doing manufacturing, trade and services, and it can be in any area of activity, or for its cross-border transaction. So in this case, it will be using the Mauritius Global Business Platform, and it can be having activities like trade of goods, provide services, investment, and this is really a real opportunity for using Mauritius as a gateway to go into Africa. As we mentioned, Mauritian, we are bilingual, so at least we speak English and French, and many Indian companies who are almost or mostly English speaking, they can tap the French speaking African countries through Mauritius with the ease of communication. And in terms of positioning, also Mauritius is very well situated. We are 1.5 hours behind India, and we are 3 to 4 hours ahead of London and 2 hours ahead of South Africa. So in terms of communication, also it's very plausible communication gateway. The company can also establish trust, foundation, family office, headquartering or treasury office, and establish its law firm.